by ascending the ladder, we can find a point at which the hold of the material inconscience ceases. The hold of inconscience means as you start going up, first inconscience, there is ignorance, less and less ignorance, more and more knowledge. Then you step into knowledge, and then knowledge and knowledge and knowledge. There is ignorance has to cease there also. A principle of consciousness becomes capable of manifestation. Now this is the basic philosophy of the life divine. In a single phrase, you can say that the entire life divine is condensed here. Principle of consciousness becomes capable of manifestation. Everything, if you want to give the full summary of life divine, it is here. And then you can write 1,000 pages on this line. See, in this vision, that is what Shivandu says. In this vision, each stage of evolution appears as due to the descent of a higher and higher power of consciousness. Now, this is important. Now, evolution is a double process. Something getting prepared from below, something entering into it from above. It is not only from here. Something also constantly entering into it from above. It's a double process. You see. In this vision, each stage of evolution appears as due to the descent of a higher and higher power of consciousness. Descent and then raising the terrestrial level. Both are simultaneously required in the theory of Shivandu's evolution. Both happen simultaneously. It is not a monotonous development from that as if from the material creation everything will arise. It is not that. While the material creation gets more and more ready, something more and more from above also descends into it and takes it up and takes it forward. Both are required. Descent and raising the terrestrial level, creating a new stratum. In fact, the whole life divine is condensed in this small letter, you see. Stratum. But the highest yet remain to descend. Well, Shivandu is telling, now look, tomorrow Superman is going to descend. This was in 1933. And his conviction is that Superman has to descend, you see. But the highest yet remain to descend, and it is by their descent that the riddle of the terrestrial existence will receive its solution. What you are calling, is this your God who created this world? Well, the answer is here, you see. So Narad is going to tell Savitri's mother, look, madam, this is the thing opening out for you, see. Decide that the riddle of the terrestrial existence will receive its solution, and not only the soul, but nature herself find her deliverance. Now this is pure Shivandu. This is pure Shivandu. This is pure Shivandu. Soul, immortality, the Vedic rishis, the great philosophers, great yogis, they have attained immortality up there in heaven. Savitri was offered that choice. She said, the Supreme told Savitri, look, Savitri, you have done a great thing. You have come to the transcendental world along with your husband. Now the whole world is for you. Join us. Stay here. Be a part of this realm of greatness. She was told that. But then Savitri says, no, I'm sorry. I don't need all that thing. What about nature? What is lying here below? The inconscient nature, the degenerate nature, which has not really attained its trueness. What about that? That will remain behind as it was. So soul and nature herself find her deliverance. That is the important thing. It is not enough that the soul finds the deliverance. Nature also has to find deliverance. Both have to find simultaneously. In fact, that is what we have. in the first book itself, Ashwapati, Canto 3, Canto 4, Canto 5 of the first book, the book of the beginnings. Ashwapati's soul is released from this world. But that is not enough. He is already delivered in the third canto itself. By 1908, Shivandu had already that realization. He already had that realization. As far as his soul is concerned, he is free, he is released totally. But that's not enough. What about nature? What about the spirit? The mental, the vital, the physical, the subtle sheaths which are there, they are made of ignorance and inconscience. What about them? Soul is there, but what about them? They have to be also free. So, Ashwapati gets the full knowledge, the secret knowledge of the working of Purusha and Prakriti, of being and nature. He gets the full knowledge of being and nature, how nature works here, what are her problems. He gets the full knowledge of it, and then with that knowledge, his spirit also becomes free, free of nature. Now, with that complete freedom of the soul and the spirit, Ashwapati is ready to move throughout the entire cosmos. He becomes the traveler of the worlds. Oceans after oceans unfold for his voyage, and he has launched his boat on that endless sea. He sees world after world in that whole process. And then he understands the mechanism of this creation, why of this world, this creation, and all that thing. So, soul and nature find deliverance. That is the entire crux of the active spirituality. Active spirituality. This is the truth, and the shadow lives. The moment you understand that, soul, then the truth is established and the shadow has gone away. Shadow has gone away. The divine light leans over the world from that point. The divine light is not up there. You can go and live always in that divine light, but I want the divine light to lean here on this world. That is his. The problem still remains why all this. Yes, yes, all that can happen. Now he is coming back again to the basic question. Yeah, why? Yeah, why? What for? Yeah, exactly. So that is the question now. So that's the question, you see. The problem still remains why all this. You have explained the how of it. You have explained until now the how of it, etc., 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 all that is wonderful, great. We admire it. But why of this? What for? What is the raison d'etre for this? You see? That's the whole issue. Yeah, of course, he's going to reply. He's going to say that the problem still remains why all this? Why all this should have been necessary? These crude beginnings, this long and stormy passage, why? This heavy and tedious price, why? Why should evil and suffering ever have been there? He is asking a point blank question, you see. He is not going to leave it like that, you see. First he has answered, he has taken great care in saying how. Now he is coming to why. That is Shivandu. And this was in 1933. So it was a great occasion that later shot by Maurice Magre to the mother, and Shivandu took the occasion and replied. But for this why, there is also the how of the fall into ignorance. The fall into, yes, how has God is all knowledge, how it has become ignorance? Then you can ask the question why. Then you can ask the question why. What is the effective cause of this all? This ignorance. It is the division. Now, here Shivandu starts giving the explanation of the why. Basically, he is narrating, to quickly paraphrase, the story of the creation narrated by the mother. The story of creation narrated by the mother. That the four divine powers separated themselves away from the divine source. And all these calamitous things began with that. They cut off themselves from the origin. And therefore, all these things turned into their opposite and it happened. What is the effective cause of this? It is the division, the separation, the principle of isolation from the permanent. The principle of isolation from the permanent and one that brought it about, this division. In fact, the crucial phrase is the principle of isolation. Now, unless you cut off yourself from the divine, you cannot have something new. See, if you remain in the divine, whatever comes, it comes same thing again. All right, these things, still there is no newness as such. There is no uniqueness as such of its own, what you might call this basic individuality which has to be there, that is absent. Between you and you and you and all of them same the divine. So what? What's the difference? There is no manifestation, there is no multiplicity, there is no manyness. I want to be many. I want to be multiple. If I am the same person, X, Y, Z, etc., same person, there is no charm in that. But I want X to be different, then Y to be different, then from Z to be etc. like that. I want. How do I do that? First, I must cut myself off from what I am. I must isolate. And then you rise. Means unless I remove myself totally from the divine contact, I cannot express myself differently.
What is this I you are speaking about? One.
Yeah. So therefore I must isolate from that.
Who is this I?
I means, well, I mean,
This answer.
I means you can be anyone. I means the divine himself is asking that question.
From the divine.
The divine himself.
Be divine.
The divine himself is asking that question. Yeah. He himself, I want to be many. He says, the divine is asking the question, I want to be many. I am tired of being alone. I want companions. Happy, joyous, different companions for my game, of my play, or whatever to call it, of my joy. I want companions. How do I do that? How do I get them? You see. And therefore, I must cut myself off from myself to begin with. Otherwise, that myself will keep on interfering everywhere and there will be no differentiation. So, I must totally put a screen here. Nothing is not there. That isolation is important. It is the division, the separation, the principle of isolation. That is the crucial phrase. For the multiplicity to occur, there has to be the principle of isolation. Now, the consequence of that principle of isolation is that you have cut off yourself from the divine, you have turned into something else than the divine, and then the problem begins. Then the problem begins. But the problem begins for what? In the course of time, through the progression, I create my own true individualities, my personalities, my meaninglessness. It is the division, the separation, the principle of isolation from the permanent and one that brought it about. It is the desire and self-affirmation in preference to its unity with the divine and its oneness with all that has given rise to this situation. I want that desire to be there. Instead of one supreme force, wisdom, light, determining harmony of all forces, each idea, each force, each form of things is allowed to work itself out. I have an idea, let that idea flourish in its own manner. I have got a force, let that force act in its own manner. I have got a form, let that form express itself in its own manner. Individually, you see, of things allowed to work itself out as far as it could in the mass of infinite possibilities. Each form can express itself infinitely, each at the same time eventually expressing its divine quality. Divine quality, infinite possibility, by the separate will and inevitability in the end by conflict with others. Then once consciousness separated from the one consciousness, inevitably the result was inconscience and ignorance and inconscience. Obviously, because you cut off yourself from the divine. See, it's something like this. The way in which it is narrated in the Indian Puranas, Brahma created this world by tapas, by tapasya, by extreme degree of concentration, of focusing himself entirely upon himself. So when you start concentrating upon yourself alone, what happens? There is total unawareness of what is there outside, and you get so much absorbed that as if the outside is no more there at all. You get kind of lost into yourself, and that becomes the starting point of the new creation. By extreme degree of concentration, by focusing entirely yourself, you have lost total awareness of yourself. You have concentrated yourself so much that you have lost total awareness of yourself. It means that you have created inconscience. When you really meditate intensely like that, you have lost total awareness. You have created inconscience in a way, and that then becomes the starting point for the new creation. That is the divine event. That's the divine event. From that point onward, now the creation unfolds. Yeah. Involution. You can say that involution if you like. Yeah. Yeah. You have absorbed yourself totally into yourself, involved yourself totally. Yeah. So there is total unawareness everywhere around. So that is what it means here. Once consciousness separated from the one consciousness, inevitably the result was ignorance and inconscience. From a dark inconscient, this material world arises, and out of it is soul that by evolution is struggling into consciousness, attracted toward the hidden light, ascending but still blinded toward the lost divinity from which it came. Now, this is a very terse statement. In fact, there is an elaborate description in Savitri. We shall see about that thing. The crux of the matter here is there is a total unawareness. There is inconscience. There is the dark shadow of the truth. And the divine soul which is there in the transcendent, from above, it sees this dark shadow in the abyss. And it becomes curious of this shadow. What is this shadow? Let me see what it is. And it plunges into that shadow as an aspect of adventure into the unknown. And therefore, the divine soul enters into this shadow, and from there now begins the sprouting of the new creation, new possibilities. Evolution is struggling into consciousness, attracted toward the hidden light, ascending, but still blindly toward the lost divinity from which it came. But why should this have happened at all? Again, again. Well, it is the divine itself that is here. In fact, it has not happened. You think it has happened. But the divine is there, and you are saying it's not. But the divine itself that is here, behind us, pervading the manifestation, supporting the world with this one. He is there in spite of all that. He is there. It is the divine that is in us, upholding itself the burden of the fall and its dark consequence. It is not you who is suffering. It is the divine himself who has taken the burden upon himself. Yeah. You are a part of the divine, it means. It means you are a part of the divine, you see. Because he is suffering, so you have identified yourself with him. You see. It's a burden of the fall and its dark consequences. If we find, if we find out this divine within us, this is what we are saying, then we have discovered the gate of deliverance. In it, we can remain ourselves. Even in the midst of this world's disharmonies, we can remain luminous, we can remain blissful, we can remain free. If we have discovered that gate of deliverance, that the divine is there even behind this, if you have discovered that. But still, what is the purpose of this disharmony? Why came this division and ego? This world of painful evolution. She is persisting on that question. She is not leaving you like that, you see. Why must evil and sorrow enter into the divine good and bliss and peace? That is a human question, obviously. Once manifestation began, infinite possibility also began. That is the why. Yes, the manifestation has begun. In manifestation means what? Infinite possibilities. Every aspect of the divine has to come into expression. Once manifestation began, with that manifestation also began the infinite possibility. And one of the possibilities of that infinity could be evil, be dark. There is a possibility. Why do you rule out that? That is a possibility in the infinite possibilities. Infinite possibility also began, and among the infinite possibilities, which it is the function of the universal manifestation of the negation, the apparent effective negation with all its consequences, the power of light and bliss was evidently there. Out of the infinite possibilities of the divine creation, there is a possibility of the negation. Why do you rule out the negation of the divine himself as a possibility? Yes, that possibility is there, and let that possibility also have its full play. Don't rule it out, because it is a divine possibility. Let it have its full play. And therefore, with all its consequences, the power, light, peace, bliss was very evidently one. Negation of all these things, of power, light, peace, there is a possibility, and that was allowed. You cannot curb. There is no imposition. There is the free will, the free choice, the freedom is there to allow every possibility to express itself fully. If there is a possibility of the divine negation, it should play out its role fully. You can't suppress it. In fact, if there is a possibility of the divine negation, that must be allowed so that it gets exhausted. So that it gets exhausted. It does not stay on. If it stays on, it will keep taking you all the way. It will not leave you easily. If there is a possibility of negation, allow it to happen. It is stay on and conquer it, change it into its true potentiality. So that has to be allowed. Work out the negation, the apparent effective negation. He says the apparent negative negation. See, he uses the word apparent also. In other words, although there is a negative possibility, it looks negative because there is a positive purpose behind that opposition. And therefore, that should be fully allowed. Power, light, this ominous possible became, see how careful, how perfect the phrasing is. This ominous possible became at a certain point inevitable. It cannot but happen. The negation has to occur. You cannot stop it. You cannot arrest it. You cannot say no. It has to. It is inevitable in the scheme of things. For once it appears, it acquires for the soul descending into evolutionary manifestation and irresistible attraction. In fact, that is the purpose of that negative possibility. The purpose of that negative possibility is to attract this soul into manifestation. To attract the soul into manifestation. The negative possibility, the soul gets attracted by that, and then the real thing starts beginning with that. Until then, the soul is also helping. Soul descending into evolutionary manifestation, an irresistible attraction which creates the inevitability, an attraction which, in human terms, on the terrestrial level, might be interpreted the call of the unknown. The soul listens to the call of the unknown from below. It plunges into it. It gets charmed by this negative infinity and gets attracted by that for the adventure of it. So that negative possibility is the cause for drawing the infinite soul into this creation. Otherwise, where from the soul will come? Why should that soul come at all? Why should that soul come at all?